Level 1, the Backyard Wrestler. You're 14 years old and you've just watched a pay-per-view with your friends. Someone suggests you try it yourselves. You drag a mattress into the backyard. You don't know how to take a bump. You don't know how to fall safely. You just know what you've seen on television and you're convinced you can copy it. Your first attempt at a suplex goes wrong. You land on your shoulder wrong, and it hurts for a week. You don't tell your parents why. You're not deterred. You watch more wrestling. You study the movements. You figure out that the performers are doing something specific with their bodies to make it work and not kill themselves. You start to understand the mechanics. It's not fake. It's a skill, a dangerous one, and you want to learn it properly. You find out there's a wrestling school 2 towns over. It costs $150 a month. You work a summer job cutting grass and shoveling driveways. You save enough for 3 months of tuition. You sign up. The day you walk through the door, the head trainer looks you over and says nothing. He just points at the ring and tells you to run the ropes. You run them badly. Your feet are wrong, your timing is off, you nearly fall sideways. He watches without expression. You're going to be here a while. Level 2, the Wrestling School Trainee. You train 3 nights a week for the first year. The basics take longer than you expected. Running the ropes correctly takes 2 months. Taking a back bump without flinching takes longer. You hit the mat 100 times a session. Your back is bruised constantly. Your forearms are covered in rope burns. You wake up stiff every morning. You're 15 years old and you feel 40. The trainer runs a disciplined school. No shortcuts. No sloppy technique tolerated. He makes you drill the same movements until they're automatic. A bump. A lockup. A forward roll. Again. 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 You're not performing yet. You're just learning how not to hurt yourself or someone else. The curriculum moves through fundamentals in sequence. Bumps, then basic holds, then simple sequences, then timing and crowd psychology. You learn that wrestling is partly athletic and partly theatrical. You have to know where the audience is at all times. You have to tell a story in the ring using only your body. Your trainer has been in the business for 25 years. He doesn't explain everything. He shows you once and expects you to figure out the rest through repetition. You spend months just watching the more advanced students. You absorb everything. You're not ready for a real match yet, but you're getting closer. Month 8. You have your first in-class match against another student. It's 3 minutes long. It's messy and slow and you forget half the spots you planned. But nothing goes dangerously wrong. Your timing is off. Your transitions are awkward. The trainer watches from ringside without reacting. Afterward, he tells you 3 specific things you did wrong. He tells you nothing you did right. That's how you know you're still a trainee. Level 3, the Indie Jobber. You're 17 and you've been cleared by your trainer to work actual shows. Your first booking is a local independent promotion running out of a VFW hall in a small town. The attendance is 80 people. You're losing to an experienced veteran in 4 minutes. That's the job. You're there to make the other guy look good. You take your bumps cleanly. You sell his offense. You do your job correctly and professionally. The promoter pays you $25. You drove 90 minutes each way. You don't care. You just worked your first real match in front of a real crowd and it felt like nothing else in your life. You work every booking you can get. Most of them pay between $20 and $50. You lose almost every match. That's what being a jobber means. You're the person who shows up, makes the featured talent look strong, and leaves. Some wrestlers resent the role. You don't. You understand that you're still learning. Every match is a classroom. You watch how the veterans control the pace, how they manage the crowd's energy, how they communicate with each other in real time when something doesn't go as planned. You're absorbing information every time you step through the curtain. Your bumping gets cleaner. Your selling gets more convincing. You're improving. Level 4, the regular indie performer. 2 years in and promoters are booking you more regularly. You're no longer just losing every match. You're having competitive matches. Sometimes you win. You're developing a character. You've tried a few different approaches and settled on something that feels natural. It fits your physical type and your personality. The character isn't complicated, but it's consistent. Crowds are starting to recognize you at the regional shows. A few people cheer when your music hits. That matters more than the payoffs do, and the payoffs are still small. A good night is $75. A great night is $150. You still work a part-time job to cover rent. Your body is accumulating wear. The bumps add up over time. Your lower back is a constant issue. Your knees ache after hard matches. You tape your wrists before every show out of habit now. You're 20 years old. You've already had one serious scare, a stinger from a poorly taken backdrop that left your arm numb for 3 days. Your trainer told you it happens. He told you it gets worse as you get older. You start learning which risks are acceptable and which ones aren't. You protect yourself better. You communicate better with opponents before matches. The reckless energy of being a beginner is fading into something more calculated. You start working longer matches, 20 minutes instead of 6. That requires a different kind of conditioning. You run 5 days a week. You lift 4 days a week. You watch your diet more carefully. The physical preparation becomes as serious as the in-ring work. You're building a career and you know your body is the most important tool you have. Take care of it or lose everything. Level 5. The Regional Draw. 4 years into your career and you're one of the most recognized names on the regional circuit. Promoters in a 3-state area know your name. You're headlining smaller shows. You're getting featured matches on bigger cards. Your pay has improved. A good weekend can bring in $500 across 2 shows. You're still not making a living from wrestling alone, but the gap is closing. You've developed a reliable match structure that works consistently. You know how to read different kinds of crowds. You know when to slow things down and when to accelerate. You've worked with enough opponents to handle almost anything that comes up unexpectedly. You're also building a reputation beyond just your in-ring work. You show up early, you help set up the ring when needed, you're respectful with veterans and patient with beginners. Promoters book people they trust. You've become someone they trust. Word spreads in the independent wrestling community. It's small and people talk. A bad reputation follows you. A good one opens doors. Doors are starting to open. A promoter with connections to a larger regional company reaches out. They want you for a weekend of shows. The crowds are bigger. 200, sometimes 300 people. The locker rooms have more experienced talent. You're not the top guy here. You're back to being a mid-card act on a bigger stage. That's fine. You understand the hierarchy. You pay your dues again at the new level. You watch and you learn. Level 6. The Developmental Prospect. You're 23 and a scout from a developmental territory contacts you after watching footage from a show you worked 6 months ago. They want you to try out. You drive 8 hours to attend a 3-day camp. There are 40 other wrestlers there. Some of them have been on national television. Some of them are bigger names than you. The coaches put everyone through the same drills regardless of experience. They're evaluating everything. Your athleticism, your psychology, your character, your coachability, how you respond to criticism, whether you have something that translates to a larger scale. You get a contract offer on the last day. It's a developmental deal. The pay is $500 a week. You give notice at your part-time job that afternoon. You move to a new city. You start training at the facility 5 days a week. The coaching is more technical than anything you've experienced before. They're reshaping how you work to fit a specific style and aesthetic. Some of what you built over the previous years needs to be unlearned and rebuilt. That's frustrating. You do it anyway. You understand this is the cost of moving up. Developmental takes 18 months. You work live events that don't air on television. You work matches in small venues in front of a few hundred people while the cameras aren't rolling. It feels like going backward, but it isn't. You're being prepared for a different scale. The characters are sharper. The production is more polished. The expectations are higher for everything. Your character gets refined significantly. Your promo work improves through constant coaching. You're a different wrestler than when you arrived. Level 7, the television undercard. You get called up to the main roster. Your debut is brief. You lose in 4 minutes to an established performer. The crowd in the arena holds 12,000 people. The noise is unlike anything you've experienced in your career. You stand in the entrance with your music playing and the lights hitting you, and for a moment you can't quite process that this is real. Then the match starts and instinct takes over. You do your job. You lose cleanly. You make the other guy look strong. You shake hands in the ring afterward. You walk to the back and nobody says much to you. That's normal. You're new. You haven't earned a relationship with most of the locker room yet. You spend the next year working television regularly, mostly losing, occasionally getting small victories. You develop a following among a segment of the audience. Nothing massive, but consistent. People recognize the character. They respond to it. The writers start giving you slightly more developed storylines. You get a few minutes of promo time. Your contract value increases at renewal. You're not a star yet. You're proving you belong at this level and building a case for more responsibility. The schedule is harder than you anticipated. 220 dates a year. Flying every week. Different time zones constantly. Living out of a suitcase from Monday through Saturday. The toll on your body is significant. Your lower back requires regular treatment from the company's medical staff. Your shoulder has been managing a partial tear for 3 months. You work through it because everyone works through something at this level. Rest is a concept that exists in the off-season and nowhere else. Level 8. The upper mid-card contender. 6 years on the main roster and you've become a reliable upper mid-card performer. You hold secondary championships. You work featured matches at pay-per-views. Your merchandise sells consistently enough that the company notices. You make $350,000 a year. That number felt impossible at 14 with a mattress and a backyard. Your name means something now. When your music hits in a major arena, the response is real and loud. You've built that over years of consistent work. Not one moment. Years of moments. You're also one of the more experienced voices in the locker room now. Younger talent comes to you with questions. You answer them the same way veterans answered you when you were newer. Specifically, patiently, without softening the harder truths. The business is difficult. The schedule breaks people down physically and personally. Relationships suffer. Your body accumulates damage that doesn't fully heal. You've seen talented people wash out because they couldn't manage the lifestyle. You tell the younger talent to protect their money and protect their bodies. Most of them nod and don't really hear it. You didn't either at that age. Level 9. The World Champion. 13 years into your career, the company puts the World Championship on you. The match takes place in a stadium in front of 55,000 people. The moment the referee's hand hits the mat for the third count, the crowd's reaction is physical. You can feel it. You stand up with the belt, and your whole career runs through your head in a few seconds. The backyard mattress. The VFW Hall. The $25 payoffs. The developmental camp. Every bad match and every injury and every early morning drive home. It arrives all at once and then it passes and you're just standing in a stadium holding a championship belt with 55,000 people making noise. You hold the title for 8 months. You defend it on every major show. You carry the responsibility of being the company's top performer at this level. That means more media appearances, more schedule demands, more scrutiny on every match and every promo. The margin for error narrows at the top. When you have an off night at this level, people notice and they write about it. You manage it. You've been managing expectations and pressure since you were a teenager with rope burns on your forearms. Level 10, the veteran legend. You're 38 now. Your body has been through 22 years of professional wrestling. You've had 2 surgeries on your knee. Your cervical spine has issues that require ongoing management. You work a reduced schedule, 80 dates a year instead of 220. You're not the top performer anymore. The young talent has taken over those roles. Your place in the company is different. You show up for major events. You work programs that give new talent a meaningful opponent. Your presence validates them. Your name still draws. That's worth something, and the company knows it. A 16-year-old shows up at a live event with a handmade sign with your name on it. After the show, they're waiting near the exit with a marker and a piece of merchandise. You stop. You sign it. They're shaking slightly and can barely speak. You remember being that age and watching someone you looked up to and feeling exactly the same way. You tell them to keep watching, keep learning, they nod. You keep walking toward the bus.